Episode 8 begins, where Ogru wakes up by sniffing the stinky smell. He looks around and is shocked to see that Hobfu has evolved. She proves to be clingy and has fallen for Ogru, but he keeps his distance from her. In reality, Ogru is aware that many people have evolved after the previous fight, becoming stronger. An example in front of him is Hobji, who is known for healing people. Now, Hobji has evolved and obtained the power of half-god. His outfit and abilities have drastically changed in a positive way. Additionally, he can create a shield that requires 20 punches from Ogru to break. This amazing power has made Hobji the star in everyone's eyes. Even Hobfu, who used to eat rotten zombies, has been inspired by him. On the other hand, Ogru is not shocked to see Hobfu as a ghoul. Not only Hobfu, but Hobiji also casts her watchful eye on Gabikichi. This raises Ogru's suspicions, but he ignores it. While trying to get rid of Hobfu, he notices Hobmi, who has also evolved and now has many eyes on her body. She has no control over these eyes, which makes her ashamed when Ogru asks her to shut them. Hobmi doesn't have fighting abilities, but she has vast knowledge which has transformed her. She can see many things with her eyes that Ogru can't. Aside from this, the pervert old goblin does his only job, changing their names. Later, one of the goblins approaches Ogru and requests further training because he wants to become mightier. In his regret over the death of his mates, he wants to become stronger. This seems odd to Ogru, but he understands and is prepared to give them hard training. Just then, his attention turns to the kobolds who are waiting for Ogru's orders. Something clicks in Ogru's mind because their leader is missing. When he looks closely, he finds that their leader has also evolved and turned into a genin kobold. Ogru is pleased with this development and even more glad because the leader has gained a new name. He is given the name Akita. It means that whoever messes with him is calling for their death. Also, he swears to be loyal to Ogru for all his life. Another day, another problem is waiting for Ogru. Ogru has decided to give freedom to all the prisoners, but most of them don't want to leave because they don't have a place to live. In this situation, they can stay here for a while. However, many of them, who consider themselves superior and think lowly of Ogru, are not ready to listen to him. One red-haired guy even tells Ogru to call his leader because he wants to fight him. If he wins, they all need to be their slaves, and if he loses, they can live as they want. Actually, he makes a blunder by assuming Dami is their leader, who bursts out in anger. She dares to speak ill of her loved one. Ogru asks her to calm down and decides to accept their challenge with a peaceful mind. Also, he is given the chance to fight him with his comrade, and he wholeheartedly accepts. In overconfidence, this red-haired guy and girl use Flame Lord powers and orb equipment. The old man asks the girls to leave because he is interested in watching the iconic combat, but it finishes before it starts. When they attack, Ogru realizes this attack would be tough for other warriors, but to beat him, they would have to be born again because he throws them away with a hard punch. After knocking them down, Hobji comes to heal them because Ogru doesn't intend to kill them. Others also try their luck by fighting with Ogru, but he knows it's a futile effort, so he prefers to play with them rather than attack them. As they are defeated, Ogru asks his comrades to deal with them. When his attention is elsewhere, his rival takes the opportunity and punches Ogru hard. The punch is so harsh that Ogru is slammed into a tree. As Ogru is inside the stones, his rival considers himself the victor and leader of the clan. Just then, Ogru reappears and punches him, almost taking his life. Another human, proud of his power, decides to cast his evil eyes on Dami. He is sure he will win and marry the pretty lady. Listening to this, Ogru burns with anger and decides the fate of this man. He drags him into battle, continuously punching him. He could have killed him if Dami hadn't placed her hand on his shoulder. Ogru controls his anger and drops his blood in the man's mouth to heal his injuries. After being beaten by Ogru, the remnants have decided to follow Ogru. They have realized they are no match for Ogru. Also, they have met many influential people, but they have never seen anyone heal their rivals. This has deeply impressed them. Aside from this, the person who had fallen for Dami has turned his attention to Ogru. He is taken aback by Ogru's power and falls for him. He even kisses Ogru's hand. This is intolerable for Ogru. To show him his true place, Ogru beats him to a pulp. Dami moves with Ogru, but she still can't shake her attraction to this man. He is still madly in love with Ogru. Later, they are busy fighting the skeleton army prepared by Ogru's magic. After assigning them a task, Ogru moves to the ironsmith. Ogru has brought a dwarf ironsmith for her, but she is not ready to work with them. She prefers to work alone, but Ogru convinces her to work with them and shows her the power of strange tools. He wants to test the synthesis of the orb. When he unleashes the power of the stone, armor appears on his body. What happens next is beyond his imagination, as it opens the gate of the dragon and calls forth a ghost. It refuses to obey Ogru's command, and he is compelled to kill this monster because he has no other option. Additionally, he combines two powers, the power of sun damage and light damage, which startles him. When he combines them, holy damage appears, burning his hand. But he doesn't care because he has healing abilities, so it's not something he should regret. The next day, he decides to use his synthesis ability. Before that, he decides to increase the size of the hot spring. Obviously, Ogru can't ignore his relaxing place where a hot chick is waiting for him. After that, he practices the synthesis ability with his mates. Soon, he realizes he has become too harsh, seeing their condition. Meanwhile, he moves to the ironsmith where the dwarves have made a legendary hammer. They made it for Ogru, and he accepts it as a reward. Aside from this, he moves around the forest alone. Even though he is invisible, the animals still sense his presence and run away. Just then, a naked girl emerges from the trees. She is the same girl Ogru met before. She has fallen for him and starts making love without knowing his willingness. When he returns, Dami and the red-haired girl are really mad and ready to show him true heaven at night. The following day, they are farming the seeds that Ogru got from the flower girl. The flower girl prepared the seeds herself to grow faster. Through this, they can enjoy its delicious taste. Many experts are working hard on this. Here, Ogru is not in charge because he is doing this for the first time. But the red-haired girl is taking the lead and is happy to rule over Ogru. Here, Ogru realizes this phase of life isn't bad at all. After receiving training, many people have willingly left and farewelled him with a smile. However, the king's army is captivated by Dami's beauty. They reveal they are retreating because the war is over, but they are still entranced by Dami. The king of the elves also knows that he can't forget his comrade, Ogru. So, he invites Ogru to a party because he is the reason they are alive. At the party, they enjoy the mesmerizing dance of the princess. Ogru feels odd because he shouldn't be there. But the king reveals that outsiders are not allowed at this party, but since Ogru saved their lives, he can't be forgotten. Actually, the king's brother broke the rule by creating connections with the outside world. He wants to meet him again and is waiting for him, all because of Ogru. Just then, they catch sight of the princess, who captivates everyone with her dance. When he returns, another surprise is waiting for him from the earth. He finds pearls and gems. This makes Ogru remember the fairy who lost her life and gave the pearl to him. He respects these pearls and gems a lot. After honoring them, he eats the pearls because they will give him power. As he expected, he gains the ability to create liquid and use the stones to create a carriage. Through this carriage, they can move to the city of humans. Everyone is shocked because they have never seen it before. Here, Ogru shares his purpose of going to the human world. Upon hearing this, the human girl becomes sad because she doesn't want to leave this place. But Ogru has already promised to make them human, and he can't break his promise at any cost. Another batch that has learned from Ogru and survived has moved on from here. Ogru farewells them with a big smile on his face. On the other hand, the red-haired wolf is mad at the red-haired girl because he wants to give her more training. She needs to learn a lot. She is prepared to give her best because she can't leave. Meanwhile, Ogru is busy picking herbs and other magical items he hasn't encountered before. He is also enjoying their company because he can learn many things here. Many tasks have been completed successfully, so he has decided to throw a party so that his crew can enjoy themselves. The humans have gotten drunk and gone insane, especially the red-haired guy, who wants to rule this place by becoming their leader. Ogru watches them with embarrassment and avoids them. They are preparing to enter the human world by forming a group of goblins and humans. He has set some rules, and they are not allowed to violate them. They need to gather as much information as they can. Second, if they encounter problems, they should deal with them on their own. Thirdly, they need to boost their level by facing difficult situations. The fourth rule is unusual. They must survive at any cost because they are not permitted to die. After saying goodbye to each other, they move away with their mates. Ogru doesn't want to leave this place, but he has no option because he wants to explore the world. He wants to see the human world. With this in mind, he moves forward in the company of Dami, the red-haired girl, and others. Like this recap and let me know in the comments if you are excited for next episode.